Brief History, Angola Hebrew, s. The first expedition of Paulo Dias de Novaes 1560. In 1556 Angola Ani, being threatened by Congo, sent an ambassador to Portugal asking for the establishment of friendly relations. This ambassador arriving in the year of the death of King John III 1557, action was deferred until 1559, when 3 caravels were fitted out and placed under the command of Paulo Dias, a grandson of the discoverer of the Cape of Good Hope. Dias left Lisbon on December 22, 1559, and called at Estame, where Bishop Gaspar Sao observed that the Jesuits, who accompanied Dias, would meet with no success as long as commercial intercourse was prohibited. Dias arrived at the bar of the Kwanzaa on May 3, and there waited patiently for 6 months, when Musungu, a native chief, made his appearance at the head of a crew of painted warriors, armed with bows and arrows. In his company Dias, accompanied by the Jesuit fathers and 20 men, traveled up the country for 60 leagues, when he arrived at the royal residence. The king, not any longer the Angola who had asked for missionaries, but his successor, received his visitors kindly, but would not allow them to depart until they had helped him against one of his revolted sobas, called Kilwanji Kia Kwangu by Garcia Mendes. Having rendered this service, Dias was dismissed, but the Jesuits remained behind as hostages. Whilst Dias was absent in Europe, Angola defeated an army sent against him, and thus compelled the recognition of the Dande River as his boundary, the island of Luandu alone, with its productive Njimbu fishery, remaining with Congo. Angola Dambi died in 1568, before Dias returned. The second expedition of Dias, 1574. After a considerable delay, Dias was sent out as his boundary, the island of Luandu alone, with its productive Njimbu fishery, remaining with Congo. Angola Dambi died in 1568, before Dias returned. The second expedition of Dias, 1574. After a considerable delay, Dias was sent out as conquistador of the territory recently visited by him. He left Lisbon on October 23, 1574, with 7 vessels and 350 men, most of them cobblers, tailors, and tradesmen. Among his officers were Pedro da Fonseca, his son-in-law, Luis Serrao, André Ferreira Pereira, and Garcia Mendes Castelabranco, all of whom subsequently won distinction as conquistadores. 3 Jesuit fathers, with P. Balthasar Barrera as superior, and 3 Dominicans accompanied him. These latter, however, not finding the country to their liking, soon sought more comfortable quarters in Congo. Dias was authorized to grant estates, including full seigneurial rights, to all such among his companions as were prepared to build a small fort at their own expense. In February 1575, the fleet sighted the coast near the Kwanzaa, and passing over the bar of Karimba cast anchor in the fine bay of Luandu, and on February 20 Dias laid the foundations of a church. The island, at that time, was inhabited by 40 Portuguese who had come from Congo, and a considerable number of native Christians. Its cowrie fisheries yielded great profit to its owner, the King of Congo, who was represented by a governor. Not finding the site originally chosen for his capital to be suitable, Dias, in 1576, removed to what is now known as the Morro de S. Miguel, and he named the new colony Reino de Sebaste na Conquista de Ethiopia, in honor of the king who fell gloriously at Al-Khazar el-Kebir, and its capital S. Paulo de Luandu. Bedouin people, Barabish Mali, and the Hassaniya their Arabic language. Beni Hassan Bedouin tribes, who extended their authority over most of Mauritania. This proves that not all black people of Africa are descendants of Ham. Hassaniya, also known as the variety of Arabic originally spoken by the Beni Hassan Bedouin tribes, and Western Sahara between the 15th and 17th centuries. It has almost completely replaced the Berber languages spoken in this region. Though clearly a Western dialect, Hassaniya is relatively distant from other North African variants of Arabic. There are several dialects of Hassaniya. The primary differences among them are phonetic. Today Hassaniya is spoken in Algeria, Morocco, Mauritania, Mali, Niger, Senegal and Western Sahara. The phonological system of Hassaniya is both very innovative and very conservative. All phonemes of Classical Arabic are represented in the dialect, but new phonemes are numerous too. As in other Bedouin dialects, classical q corresponds mostly to dialectal per gram d. In common with most Western Arabic varieties, the equivalent of modern Standard Arabic d is realized as 3. However, there is sometimes a double correspondence of a classical sound and its dialectal counterpart. Thus classical q is represented by per gram in GB, to take, but by q in mqass scissors. Similarly, d becomes in ek laugh noun, but d in mred to be sick. Some consonant roots even have a double appearance, aqi heavy mentally versus 0gi heavy materially. Some of the classicizing forms are easily explained as recent loans from the literary language, such as qa nu in law, or from sedentary dialects in case of concepts pertaining to the sedentary way of life, such as mqass scissors above. For others, there is no obvious explanation, like mred to be sick. Etymological appears constantly as, never as d, and appears very stable, unlike in many other Arabic varieties. Somewhat similarly, classical d has in most contexts disappeared or turned into with and j, ms, yesterday, instead of ams. In some literary terms, however, it is clearly preserved. Mount l.lam, suffering participle, classical mu.ta.al.lim. In addition to the above-mentioned, r and l have a clear phonemic status and bfmn, more marginally so. One additional emphatic phoneme, z, is acquired from the neighboring Zingah Berber language along with a whole palatal series, c, from Niger-Congo languages of the south. At least some speakers make the distinction p, b through borrowings from French. All in all, the number of consonant phonemes in Hassaniya is 33, or 39 if you count the marginal cases, too. What does the beauty of Kikongo? At each point and round, the richness, flexibility, accuracy, thoroughness and subtlety of the idea of language expression is revealed. So we find that the Congo speak a language so exact and true, the such ways, that tricks the double intention, falsehoods and illogical perversions that are so freely perpetrated in European languages, would not be possible in argumentation Congo. Mountains half of sophistry and reasoning, thrown over strained use of words and indefinite expressions, it would not bother the Congo, with as accurate and definitive in his speech command, a regular and elaborate grammatical system of discourse, such subtlety and accuracy of the idea that your daily use is itself a education. William H. Bentley, 1887. Please observe the grammatical rules of the language Kikongo, as originally established by John N. Kaka N. Limbo, the Honorable Linguist in Congo in 1885. The other famous linguist in Congo often overlooked was Tata Miguel Nikaka, the 19th century. He translated significant parts of the Bible from English to Kikongo, including the Book of Ruth in Kanda N. Zambi, the Holy Bible. N. Congo, a doctor of theology, graduate in Brazil and professor of Hebrew language, said he prefers to view the Kanda N. Zambi due to etymological approach of many words and expressions to the Kikongo language Hebrew. This confirms the magnificent work of translators, one of them, of course, Tata Miguel Nikaka. If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants. Sir Isaac Newton. We would like to open a parenthesis to honor all Angolans linguists of the 19th century, whose magnificent work continues to serve as a reference today and will continue for sure by more and more generations. Our special appreciation for the work of Jelimia de Sabatello Malangi, Portuguese name, Jeremiah Alvarez da Costa. It is taught that the Angolan Methodist missionary and linguist Swiss Heli Chatelain language Kimbundu, in 1890 was led by Mr. Heli to the United States, where he continued his work on the grammar Kimbundu, which formed the basis for the translation of the Bible into Kimbundu. Jelimia de Sabatello made a contribution to the science of linguistics as importantly, who was honored with a statue. Queenda today can be seen at the Smithsonian Institute in Washington. Integral letter of N. Zingah M. Bandi taken in 1626 to the 3rd of February since Kindongo. I greet you here in Kindongo, Mr. Bento Bana, where for sure you will not find me now. Me and my royal court. We are on the way of our rich highlands of this country, there to the mountains. Then, yes, you will find me. But with bow and spear in hand, and poisonous spears as we continue to poisoning our spears, with the worst kind of venom that can be under heaven. I beseech your finesse, to go tell that to your boss. To your governor, Mr. Ferdinand Souza, go give you this my message. And tell him also that the name of Ana de Souza the other wanted to offer me, did not caught, and could not catch. The same happens with my sisters, Cambu, she does not want the name of Barbara, and Fuxi sends word that her name is even Fuxi. You must apply the name Ingracia to your daughters that you are giving birth yourselves. Despite all my efforts for a possible reconciliation between us and you, and us, between your stuff and ours. But I would like to ask you if you have enabling all of you who are hitting you for a reason that never will go out victorious. Maybe better to remind you that the sons of my father will not give up never to fight, all of hemostasis will follow suit. At all costs defend them independence and freedom of the land of our fathers and grandfathers. The fire of our parents. Children, women, servants, goods. Our mountains and valleys, meadows, our forests. Trees, malembas, rivers. Our earth. We loved it all, and we fear that it will turn to your corrupt way to be known that you will not be the winners. Even with a son of our father to help you, convoying some of our good, hemostasis of you face. Weapons will not fail us, and there will be people in this world able to respond to our appeal, to run you with fire and sword. Since in good way, you do not want to get out of here, and so little ye bear yourselves as a guest should behave in someone else's house, or a friend in friendly house. My people do not want here in his hometown folks of that nature. Judah, Bana Congo, follows in Israel's Bana and Gala footsteps. The story of Judah, the southern kingdom, is somewhat different though equally tragic. Both kingdoms quickly abandoned the true God and sank into moral and spiritual depravity. While the northern kingdom never once had a righteous king, Judah at least had a handful who turned to God and instituted religious reforms aimed at turning the people to proper worship of the true God. These righteous kings were somewhat successful, at least for a while. As a result, the kingdom of Judah outlasted its northern neighbor by more than a century. Yet eventually those in Judah, too, would pay a heavy price for rejecting their creator. They should have learned a lesson from the captivity of the 10 northern tribes, especially since some of the same Assyrian invasions devastated much of Judah. In Hezekiah's day virtually all of Judah except for its capital, Jerusalem, was conquered by the Assyrians, and Jerusalem, too, would have fallen had God not supernaturally delivered the city. 2 Kings chapters 18-19. The prophet Isaiah, speaking to Hezekiah, was the first to reveal the specific enemy that would subjugate Judah if they, too, refused to change. Then Isaiah said to Hezekiah, Hear, then, what does the word of Yahweh, in days to come shall be carried to Babylon all that is in thy palace, all the treasures that your fathers have accumulated until this day, nothing will be here. Thus saith the Lord. Among the children who were born to you, who you generated yourself, take some to be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon. 2 Kings 20:16-18. God sent many other prophets, including Micah, Zephaniah, Habakkuk and Jeremiah, to warn Judah, but to no avail. As the Assyrians vanquished the Israelites in several waves of invasions and deportations, so the Babylonians took away the Jews in several deportations before and after the fall of Jerusalem in 586 BC. Many details of the biblical accounts of the downfalls of Israel and Judah are confirmed by Assyrian and Babylonian records from the time, demonstrating again the accuracy of the biblical record.